today I'm going to be teaching you how to beat your friends in chess, because I feel like that's one of the first things you ever want to do. You just want to beat all your friends in chess, right? And feel super cool and just be like the person in the friend group that is the best at chess. And so this video is for you who is a casual chess player, a beginner chess player, and who's in generally under 500 rated. And you don't even have to have an online chess account, but this is for people that are rated under 500 rating. So I'm going to be playing in my speedrun account, and I'm going to play against people that are in this level and tell you exactly what I'm doing, move per move, explain all my thoughts, and hopefully I'll teach you a bunch of things that you can use in your own games. And this is going to be the first episode out of many episodes where I'm going to be talking about how to go from 400 rating to 2300. So it's basically going to be like a long speedrun where I talk about how to win in all kinds of different levels. So I hope you enjoy this, and let's get right into it. First things first, little disclaimer. This is a speedrun account. It's authorized by chess.com. Everybody gets their rating back. It says in my profile that it's a speedrun account. So my opponents will get the rating back. My real rating is, well, in chess.com, it's like 2300. Second, there's a few things that you should think about when you're in this level. So first and foremost, very important, you gotta grab the center. Don't go for these sort of moves. I mean, in blitz and bullets, sometimes people love going for these things, and I do too, but we're gonna keep it simple in this level. Just take the center. That's the most important thing. Then you want to bring out your knights, you want to bring out your minor pieces, which are the bishops and the knights, and then you want a castle. And that's everything basically that you want to do. You also want to think about your pieces not being too far away from each other. What does that mean? Well, for instance, you don't want your knight to be roaming around by itself over here without being protected, because it's going to be very easy for you to lose that knight. And the same applies with any piece. And lastly, please castle. Don't think that you don't need to castle. We all need to castle, and chess is going to be easier if you just castle, because your king is just going to be protected and it's going to make things easier. Oh, and another thing, remember that pawns cannot go back. So don't push pawns like crazy. Try to first find the best squares for all your pieces and then come up with a plan for your pawns. But the more your pawns are pushed, the easier it is to lose them. And the pawn can never go back once it goes forward. So remember that. Okay. Without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and play a game, and I'll play 5-minute games so that we have a little bit more time. So I'm playing against a 400 rated, and he's going e4. I'm gonna go c5, which I actually just realized that maybe it's a bit difficult for someone in this level, but it doesn't matter. I'll go e5 in other games. But okay, d4. Now he's taking back with the queen. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna bring out my knight. Okay, I'm bringing out my knight and I'm threatening his queen, because now I'm gaining what we call a tempo. That means that I'm able to get out one of my minor pieces at the same time as I'm forcing him to make a move and bring down his queen. So I've gained the move. I've basically gotten this move for free. So now that he's gone here, this is a very scary place to put his queen, because I instantly see that it's in the same diagonal as this king. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go ahead and take some center. This is a move I need to do anyways to develop my bishop, but I'm at the same time going to threaten to win this queen. So now my big threat is bishop b4, placing my bishop right here and pinning his queen. Now he has to see this threat. This means that he either needs to basically push his pawn one step to defend, which he did, or move his queen again, which would of course be very annoying because he's already spent some time doing that. Okay, well, I'm gonna continue gaining tempos. So I'm going to continue my development, which means developing my pieces. I'm gonna continue my development at the same time as I am threatening this pawn over here. What does that mean? Well, it means that I've basically gained the tempo again. I've been able to get one of my pieces out at the same time as I'm threatening his pawn. And okay, he's defending it, so he's playing well so far, he hasn't made any big mistake, and I am simply going to continue with getting my pieces out. So now my bishop is gonna go out, and then I'm gonna castle, and then I'm soon going to be done with the most important things. So we're gonna castle here ASAP. And my opponent hasn't made any big mistakes. However, what we can see is that, this bishop cannot get out, and I still really like my position. So now before anything else, I'm gonna castle. Very important to castle. He's bringing out his knight as well. That is great. And now he's threatening this pawn, as we can see, because he's threatening it with 2 pieces. So whenever he brings out a piece, important for us to look at, okay, is he threatening anything? Here, he was threatening to take this pawn. So we are going to defend it, and now we're ready to bring our final piece out. And then after that, we're gonna come up with our middle game plan. So as soon as all our pieces are out, we can basically say that the opening is finished, which is the first part of the game, and the middle game, which is literally what it's called, the middle of the game, is starting. So, okay. My opponent decided to go there, which was a great move because now he's preventing me from placing my bishop here, which is what I wanted. But I guess that what I'm going to do is that I am simply, well, I could go here, but to be fair, we could perhaps make this pawn a bit weak, and we don't really like doubled pawns. So I am simply going to move my bishop 1 step forward. Here, it's safe, nothing can happen to it. And now I've finished my development, and now my final minor piece is out, and I have castled. So now, first part of the game done. We survived. Okay, great. He's castled too, but he still hasn't developed his bishop, so we do have a bit of an edge. So one of the things that we typically say in chess is that you shouldn't bring out your queen too early on because it's very easy to attack it. So I'm going to look at the pieces that I have, and what I see is that all my pieces are out, but my rooks are not out and my queen is not out. So I'm going to try to gain a tempo again by placing the rook in the same file as the queen, because now we're going to be disturbing this queen. For instance, I am threatening to maybe at some point be able to attack this bishop with a move such as this, and then the bishop cannot move because then I take the queen. So let's go ahead and prepare something like this. So for me to be able to do something like this, I basically need to move my knight. Now in this specific position, it might actually be that I have this move. However, I think that this move, it's a move that maybe wouldn't be so easy for 500 to find, or 391 is my rating here. So I don't really want to recommend something that is, very difficult to find. So instead, what I'm going to do, instead of this move, which is very good because we're forcing this bishop to move, and we can then go knight here, which is a nice tactical find, I'm going to place this knight over here because now I'm threatening to go b5. So now I am threatening this move. However, if you want to pause the video and analyze why this move is very good, I recommend for you to do so just to learn a bit of tactics too. Here b5, the idea is that after bishop takes, there's knight here, and I'm going to be threatening this with many pieces, and I'm also threatening this pawn, and I think it's just a fantastic position. But okay, I continued now my plan of putting pressure on this bishop, and now my opponent didn't see that this bishop is pinned. So we are now going to play b5, threatening this bishop, and the bishop cannot move because then I will win the queen. So we have now been able to achieve a very similar thing in an easier way, keeping this pawn defended the whole time. So now after b5, he cannot do anything to defend this piece, and the mistake of my opponent was, one, to bring out this queen so early on, but also, of course, to not see this tactical thing. So he's threatening now my knight, but at the same time, he's losing control over his bishop, so I can now pick up his bishop with my knight, and if he takes back, I will take back with the rook to threaten the queen, keep the rook on an open file, and then win this pawn as well. So now where does the queen go? I don't know where the queen goes. The queen doesn't have many good places to go to, but we will see. So yeah, here we're going to continue, I think, the attack. So I like taking like this because then I'm threatening the queen as well. So Here we're gonna take it with the queen, once again gaining a tempo. I'm picking up a pawn at the same time as I'm threatening his queen. Now I'm playing very slow. As you can see, I only have a minute left. But there is, but I'm trying to explain all my moves here. So, okay, the queen goes here. I'm gonna threaten this queen one more time because I don't like the queen being here, and now I can activate my bishop as well. Important for me to go here and not here though, because here I would have lost this pawn. So I'm going here instead, keeping my pawn defended and forcing the queen to go back. Now when the queen goes back, we can do, yeah, okay, the queen goes all the way there back. Now that I am up material, actually, I'm a whole piece up. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to start trying to trade pieces. The more we trade, the better, because the less pieces my opponent is going to have to defend himself. So, yeah, now I think my opponent just missed that my queen is defended, or he really wanted to trade queens. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to keep control of this file like that. And now, yeah, unfortunately, he lost his queen. And now after the king goes there, we have bishop check and checkmate. I don't know if my opponent will be making any moves or if they are not going to and are just gonna let the time run out. I'm not sure. Okay, we're gonna wait and see. We're gonna wait and see. The time is ticking. Okay, I think that my opponent is not gonna make a move. I think my opponent is not making a move. All right, we're gonna speedrun this. Okay, so we ended up just winning that game there. My opponent didn't make a move. And I'll just do a little quick game review here. Just so that you can see where my opponent went wrong.
You had a nice tactical find in this game.
So my opponent played very great for quite a long time. This was, I think, my opponent's first mistake. They should never place their queen in this diagonal. They should have gone just one step back. And yeah, here...
You had a better way to... Both good. This move doesn't...
Yeah, like I said, in this position, I could have gone for the move b5. So this was the best move. And the idea is, I just wanted to show you, the idea was to go knight here. And now I'm threatening both the queen and this bishop. And this would be a fork. So this would have been a very nice move. But I also wanted to show you how to play it in an easier way. Because at this level, it's very much enough to just be threatening these things. You don't always have to find the most correct move. Okay, so we're gonna play one more game. Let's see. We'll play a couple games here. So here I'm playing a 396. This time I'm gonna play e5, which is what I think most of you play. Let me know in the comments down below if you're under 500 what your favorite opening is, because then maybe I could also cover it sometime. But okay, so we're gonna defend our pawn. We don't want to lose it. And now my opponent is playing the Scotch. I'm going to be honest with you. I have no clue how you play the Scotch, but I'm just going to play it the way I think it should be played. But I don't know. Here it looks both natural to go here or here, but I might play this very badly because I have no idea on the theory here. But I'm just going to go there and then I'm going to get my knight out, and I'm not too upset about this double pawn. Generally in chess, we don't like having double pawns because the pawns cannot then protect each other. So you see this c6 pawn, there's no pawn that's protecting it. And, you know, if it goes to c5, I mean, okay, it's maybe fine, but it would be better to have it here because also this pawn is kind of gonna be blocking this pawn. So in chess, we really care about activity of pieces, material, king safety, and also about the formation of our pawns. Even though I would say that at this level, that is not so important. I would say that king safety, material, and just activity is way more important. But just good to know anyway. So what I'm going to do now is I think I'm just going to get my bishop out. This bishop needs to go here anyway, so I'm going to get my bishop out, then I'm going to get my knight out, and then I'm going to insta-castle. So my opponent is trying to get some attack going. I could pick this pawn up, but to be fair, I don't want to allow my opponent to get so much activity against my king. So I'm not going to take that pawn. I'm simply going to let it be. Now though, what I'm seeing is that this pawn could reach this square. And this square is actually quite a good square for this pawn to reach because it's going to be controlling this g7 square forever. And if my opponent goes there, I don't want to take it because then my king will forever be unsafe when it's castled. It's like, what I like to think about it, it's like a plastic bag with water. And whenever there is a thing like this, it's like a big hole in that plastic bag with water and the water is just running out. And at some point, your plastic bag will be with no water and your king will get checkmated. That's the way I see it. So we want to make sure everything is fine. So we're going to get a hole in this plastic bag, but it's going to be a controlled hole. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyways, now we're going to castle. And sure, my opponent, I think, is going to go g4 because they really want to go for this attack. And this is a good attempt by our opponent, but we know how to defend our king. And I know here that my opponent wants to push this pawn to this square. So luckily, we've already prepared ourselves by having our bishop and queen pointing toward it. But the only thing that's missing is our knight pointing towards this too. So as long as we're not forced to take here with a pawn, we're fine. Here, we just gotta take with pieces. As long as we take with pieces and we don't create more holes in our plastic bag, it's completely fine. So this is great. We don't want to place a piece here because then my opponent is gonna go f4. So we don't want to do that. Instead, we just want to get the bishop out. So here I would go bishop e6. However, I see that then my opponent is going to go there and I don't love that. So instead, I'm going to find a different place for my bishop. I think actually I'm just going to place my bishop here because it's kind of looking towards this rook. And here, I don't really care. We have enough pieces that are defending this. If my opponent goes h6, very important, we never take that. Never, ever, 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 ever take that and allow for this rook to be so strong. Instead, we're going to go g6. Very important. If my opponent now goes there, we're going to think about what we do. But we're never, ever, 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 ever taking that pawn on h6. It is never, ever, ever happening. Okay, so now my opponent wants to take back, and I actually don't mind my opponent taking back at all because then their attack is kind of over. We could take here and just be a pawn up. And actually, I think that we should, simply because this king is just so unsafe. So we are going to do that. We are going to do that. My opponent is playing very well. Like, this is scary stuff. But now it's time for us to attack this king. We gotta punish our opponent for not doing what I told you that you have to do, which is castle. So now we're gonna check this opponent. And the more pieces we trade with our opponent right now, the less attack my opponent is gonna have. So now you see that their king is on f1. Their king is more unsafe than ours. Very important to note. So we are going to go queen f6. We're placing the queen here in the same file as the king. We're threatening now this bishop. This bishop is pinned, and we can even threaten it further by placing this bishop over here. So now my opponent went there and simply blundered their bishop. So now we can take it. But they're being tricky. So what they want to do is, of course, that they want to checkmate us, but they're doing something that I see many people do, which is care more about their own attack than ours. And here we have check, and this is actually checkmate. The only move is for the queen to go back, and then we are going to be going back. And this move I saw quickly, but the way you see this move is, of course, by looking at all the checks and captures first and foremost. If this wouldn't have worked, we could always have stopped this checkmate by going back with our bishop, taking this pawn, or going queen here. This move was not scary at all. We had several different ways of preventing that checkmate. So that was not anything that was scary. So in this position, I think my opponent just went too much on the attack. They didn't develop their pieces. And an attack without pieces and just pawns, that almost rarely works. And their king was too unsafe. They had to prepare this by castling and bringing in more rooks. This was too soon and too quick, and we were able to capitalize on that. Okay, so I'm gonna play one more game, and that's gonna be the final game for this video, and we can, you know, continue this speed run if you want in the future. I actually once, I'm getting black again. Why am I getting black in all my games? Okay, I'm gonna go e5 again. I once started a speedrun 3 years ago, and the first thing that I did was that I did a video on how to beat 400s, and then I never continued the speedrun. Well, I have done a speedrun where I speedrun all of chess, where I went from 300 to 2000 in one video, which took 8 hours. But yeah, let me know if you want me to do like more episodes, you know, where I talk about each rating basically, because I would love to do that. I'm kind of in a wanting to do more educational stuff moment. So I hope that you are enjoying that. Okay, so now my opponent is playing the Scotch again. I presume that many people are playing this nowadays, and I'm scared. Is this gonna be like a fried liver thing? I don't know the theory on this. I'm kind of scared. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, because I see. Oh, what is my opponent doing to me? So I suppose the point is that there's gonna be some bishop over here. And then what? I don't know what. Oh, then I can go knight there, probably. Yeah, that should be fine. I'll just go knight here because I want to prevent this queen from going there. Bishop e7. I don't know if there's some like takes and queen here. I don't know. Yeah, so this, now my plan was just simply to go there. Now we're defending and we're attacking. No, this doesn't work. My opponent thinks they can go queen h5. Or? Okay, they just gave me a piece for nothing. I think they gave me a piece for nothing. I'm kind of scared. Okay, so yeah, I think they did. All right, so yeah, that was also their mistake. They just gave me a piece for nothing. Okay, so let's see, what do we do? This is, yeah, it's a little tricky because my king is just very much in the center. I think the first thing that I'm going to do is that I want to prevent this pawn from pushing, and I want to develop my bishop here. So yeah, luckily now my bishop can go there and we're stopping this check. And then I'm just going to go bishop here, get my rook here, and we're just going to do a fake castles, which is the second best thing to a real castle. So, okay, here I would love to trade queens. That is my dream. Would love to trade queens. Of course, maybe not so easy to do it. The reason I would love to trade queens is because I'm now a full piece up. So I'm basically saying that if we reach an endgame, I will be able to win. So I want to trade queens because then it's going to be very difficult for my opponent to attack. Their attack will basically be non-existent, and I'll just be able to play an endgame a piece up, which should be easier for me to win because there's no risk that I get checkmated or anything like this. So now, for instance, that I can do this trade of queens, I am instantly going to do it. You should always be looking for a trade of queens if you are up a piece. Yeah, so here, and now I want to get my rook into place. I'm going to get my rook right here. I'm placing it in the same file as the king. My opponent is making the mistake of trading when they're down material. They haven't watched this video, so they don't know that they shouldn't. And they also allowed for my bishop to become really strong and be in this diagonal. And here we see a resignation. So, okay, I think that with this, we are going to end this video. But I hope that you learned something. So yeah, I think my opponents in the last 2 games, they just went too much on their attack and they didn't do this method of getting your pieces out, castling, and then starting whatever. Because I promise you, if you just play in a more safe way at this level, it's going to be way easier for you to win lots of games. Do an attack, do whatever you want, but please just get your minor pieces, aka knights and bishops, out first, then castle, and then you can do whatever you want. But please keep your king safe. And yeah, I'm going to do more videos like this. Don't forget, always look at checks, captures, and attacks whenever you don't really know what to do. I'm doing more also educational videos, so I recommend for you, no matter your level, to watch all of them. I'll actually put one of them here in the screen somewhere. But thank you so much for watching this video, and let me know if you want to see more speedruns and, you know, for higher levels too. Next time maybe we go 500, 600, 700 and we continue. All right, have a fantastic day and good luck with your chess. Bye!